never gave excuses for the things that went wrong. Doing what I do, I guess they making new clones.
Like, follow, and subscribe.
Welcome back after a nice, healthy, long vacation. It is January 2025, and it's your boy Money Talk Shoes, aka Shoes Gone Cuts, baby. And we're back with another one, and this is the world we live in. Last time you seen this, man, we got a couple new props in. You know what I'm saying? We got the world we live in ones. I just gotta show y'all, you know what I'm saying, for the people at home. I gotta show y'all these, man. The world we live in, the Money Talk Shoes edition, baby. The Money Talk Shoes edition, man. I just had to pop that off before we get started, man. You know what I'm saying? These my babies right here, man. These my babies. But today got my nice bean bag, nice and comfy for you, you know what I mean? But starting off today, we're gonna talk football. You know, we got college football, we got NFL. You already know the beginning of the year, you know what I'm saying? You know how most of that stuff goes. Everybody's nice and chilly football weather. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, getting in the spirit, man. Playoffs, championships, and Super Bowls. That's all we worried about right now. And you already know, y'all already know what's going down. Y'all see the bird. You know what I'm saying? We bleed green every day. Christmas season just came. You already know there's a lot of green and red, baby. You already know. But we're gonna line up some wild card. First, I'm gonna go over the teams that actually made it to the playoffs. So we're gonna run down. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna run down the playoff picture real quick. All right. So we're gonna start off with the AFC. The Chiefs, you know what I'm saying, they clinched their playoff spot and being the number one team early. They went 15-2, first of the AFC West, so they got their first seed. They got the bye week. The Bills, they running the AFC East, 13-4, nice phenomenal record as well, beating the New England Patriots the last week of the season. They the number 2 seed. Ravens number 3. They finished their season 12-5, top of the North. And the Texans, you know what I'm saying, AFC South, ain't nothing really goes on in the South for real. But, you know, the Texans, they've been moving forward the last couple years, so they starting to do their thing with C.J. Stroud and company over there. They built their team up this year. Unfortunately, Stephon Diggs, he got injured early in the season, probably about week 4, week 5. Not probably a little bit later. I give him about week 8. Stephon Diggs got a season-ending injury about week 8. So, fortunately, you know, I put in a small little wager with him to get 10 touchdowns this season, but he fell short due to injury, but we'll be bounced back next year. It's all good. So, Texas holding down at number 4. We have Los Angeles Chargers, a.k.a. San Diego Chargers. But we gonna rock with L.A. I like them little San Diego better, but it's all good. So, the L.A. Chargers, they holding down the 5th spot, 11-6. They just beat the Raiders last week of the season, so that pushed them over the hump to get into that wild card spot. The Steelers as well, holding down the 6th spot of the wild card, 10-7, coming out of the North. And then we got the Broncos, the last seed. The Broncos turning around this year with Bo Nix. Bo Nix definitely was a grand pick at the first round. Caleb was a bust for me. You know, Caleb was the first pick, but he really was a bust. I think if Bo Nix would have went to the Bears probably would have been more, you know what I'm saying, had more substantial progress, you know what I'm saying, going on this season. But, hey, you get drafted where you go, you know what I'm saying? You can't help it. So that tops our AFC 1-7. Now we're going to jump over to the NFC. We got the Lions, you know what I'm saying? Lions leading the NFC North. Lions leading the NFC North, 15-2 as well. Lions had a phenomenal season as well. Sad to say, towards the end of the season, you know what I'm saying, the last couple weeks, their cornerbacks and their defensive linemen started falling off, so a lot of people started getting hurt. So hopefully this bye week that they have, you know what I'm saying, the first week of the playoffs, that helps them out a little bit because they need a little bit of rest so their players can come back, you know. Best team in football. Unfortunately, we're number 2, but they say first the worst, second the best. But first the head honchos of the East. You know what I'm saying? Fly Eagles, fly, bleed green, my Eagle babies. You know what I'm saying? We beat up the Giants the last week of the season. All our starters stayed out. You know what I'm saying? So they can be healthy for this weekend coming up. We got the Buccaneers at the 3rd seed, leading the NFC South. We got Los Angeles Rams. They're leading the West. I feel bad for San Fran and all them boys up there because they went from the best to the worst in one season. I'm like, that was a crazy turnaround. I've seen worst to best, but best to worst. That's a hard flip to do. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that ain't my squad, so ain't nothing I can do about it. My green boys flying high. That's all I got to worry about. Oh, we got the Vikes. Skull Company, Minnesota Vikings. They the 5th seed. They the 2nd in the NFC North, right behind Detroit. They played each other last week of the season. So whoever would have won that game would have had home field advantage the first week by the playoffs. So the Vikings failed. So the Vikings 5th seed. The Commanders trailing in. 2nd in the NFC Beast. You know what I'm saying? So they finished the season 12-5, beating Dallas the last week. And then the Packers, the 7th seed, our last wild card spot of the NFC. So the matchups we have this weekend, since we just finished on the NFC, we're gonna continue with the NFC right now. They're gonna flip back to the AFC. So the Lions at the 1st seed, they got a bye week, so they'll be resting all their people this week. So we have the 7th seed Green Bay Packers coming up to Philly for the first wild card matchup. We already played the Packers the first week of the playoffs. First week of the regular season. We played in Brazil, so it wasn't really no home field advantage for each side. So they were trying to push the game internationally. But I feel like it's gonna be another repeat. The Packers, their offense is nice, but their defense really can't compare to our defense. I feel like if they can't put up 40 points, they're not gonna beat us, and they won't put up 40 points, not in January. So I see us going to the next round. The Buccaneers, the Commanders go down and play the Buccaneers. That game right there, I don't know. That's a toss-up game for me. The Redskins, the Commanders. I'm sorry, I'm just so used to the Redskins. You know what I'm saying? I'm a DMV native, so all I hear is Redskins, Redskins, Redskins all day. So, but the Washington Commanders, they go down to Tampa Bay this weekend. That game for me is really a toss-up. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders playing a lot of good football right now. So, I really can't say who I'm thinking is gonna come out of that one. Both teams are very good. The Buccaneers, they're really an underdog, even though they're the 6th seed. But the Buccaneers, they come down, Baker Mayfield and company, they come down to handle business. Bucky Irvin, Mike Evans, you know what I'm saying? They some nice fellas out there, you know what I'm saying? So the offense definitely can prevail for sure, as well as Commanders. They got Terry McLaurin, they got B-Rob at running back. So they also evenly match as well. I think the Buccaneers defense is a little bit better than the Commanders defense. So if the Commanders offense outshines the Bucs defense, I feel like they'll push over on that one. But it's definitely going to be at least a one-possession game in my eyes. I think whoever wins is going to win from anywhere 3 to 7 points. It's not going to be no blowout. It's not going to be no 1-point game, 2-point game. It's definitely going to be a field goal touchdown win. Then we're going down to our last matchup of the NFC, the first round of the NFC. We have the Rams and the Vikings. The Vikings are going to LA. They've been having a lot of fires and wildfire and stuff in LA right now. I'm not sure if that has anything or that will jeopardize the breathing and the atmosphere for the football players. But if that doesn't affect, I know they're down in the dome, so they're going to be exposed to the environment. So hopefully all that stuff is cleaned up by this weekend. The first game is on Saturday. So other than that, I still think the Vikings are gonna, you know what I'm saying, hold it down. Vikings are a better team than the Rams in general. They both have very good quarterbacks. Tier B quarterbacks, not gonna give them elite, but you know, they all made it to that stage of life, you know what I'm saying? They were all NFL quarterbacks, so they can get the job done. They wouldn't have made it that far if they couldn't get the job done. So it's matter who plays the best that day. So yeah, so I got the Vikings. Vikings beating out the Rams week 1, the wild card week 1. I got the Packers losing to the Eagles, and I got the Commanders beating out the Buccaneers. On the AFC side, you know, the Chiefs get the first week bye, so you know they got nothing to worry about. Bills, it's gonna be nice and cold in Buffalo. You know, they've been having snow, crazy snow up there, so whoever has to go up. The Broncos used to it as well. Broncos at the 7th seed, they used to the snow in Colorado, so that's gonna be a nice evenly matched game as well. The Bills has been slacking, and the Broncos are playing great, so that game will definitely be a nice evenly matched game as well. Broncos going up to Buffalo to play the Bills. I don't know who's coming out of that game, honestly. The Bills have been playing, I'm not gonna say bad football, but they haven't been playing their best football. Josh Allen, he been turning the ball over a lot, you know, but they still been ending with wins. So a good quarterback, no matter how many turnovers he gets, as long as you pull through with the win, that all that matters. But the Broncos, Cortland Sutton, Vele, you know, Marvin Sims, they all making Bo Nix look good. They making him look great. He averaging about 275, 300 passing yards a game. He might even get another 40 on his foot. You know what I'm saying, on his feet. So I think the Broncos might be the upset team. Broncos gonna come through and they're gonna upset the Bills first week of the wild card. I'm telling you right now. Next game, we got Steelers and Ravens. Steelers and Ravens. The first of the AFC North versus the second seed of the NFC North. So these teams, they play twice a year. They're in the same division. So they already used to playing each other all day long. So that's going to be another close division game. The Steelers got to come down to Baltimore. You know, so that'll be another fun matchup. We had snow this past weekend, so it should be clear for this weekend's game. So they shouldn't have too many weather problems. I know it's going to still be a little bit chilly. But that should be a nice game. I like Lamar and them boys. You know, Russell Wilson been doing his thing. You know, once he came down to the Steelers from Denver, and then he jumped right in, like, you know what I'm saying? He jumped right in like he's been there for seasons, for years. But Lamar Jackson and Likely, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, all them boys up there, they be balling. You know what I'm saying? Their defense is holding it down, doing nice. So I got the Ravens coming out the Ravens Steelers matchup for sure. I definitely do have the Ravens. Last game of the AFC slate, we got Texans and Chargers. That one is another tough one because the Texans will be balling. The Texans will give you 50 points. They give you 30 points. They'll beat you 24-6. So you don't know what type of Texans you're gonna get. But the Chargers, you know what I'm saying? Derwin James and company, they defense is some dogs. You know what I'm saying? They might not be the best offensive team out there, but they know how to put points on the board. Justin Herbert, you know, Joshua Palmer, they do their due diligence, you know what I'm saying? They get down the field. They might not be, you know what I'm saying, number 1, number 2 pick receivers, but they definitely gonna get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get in the end zone. So that definitely gonna be a tough game as well. Damn, I wouldn't even know where to go with that one. Damn, I don't know. I do not know. I'm gonna just go with the Chargers right now. Chargers they more healthy right now than the Texans, so I'm gonna just go with the Chargers. So now we're gonna go into the next week, second week of the first week of the divisional. So Detroit, they'll come through. Going back to the NFC side, Detroit, they'll come down. You know, they'll play their first game. They'll be at home because they have home field advantage all the way through. And then I picked Philly beating Green Bay. So whoever's the winner of that game will be going to Detroit and playing Detroit. It's cold in Detroit. The weather conditions are crazy, but they play. Excuse me. They play in the dome, so they don't have to worry about outside conditions at all. So it's just whoever plays the best football that day. And I believe Philly will beat Detroit as well, and they'll make their way over to the conference championship. I had Washington beating I had Washington beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as well as Minnesota beating the Los Angeles Rams. So Washington will be playing Minnesota at home because Minnesota is a higher seed. They're the 5th seed. Washington is the 6th. So I do have Washington going to Minnesota as well. Again, it's going to be cold, bad weather conditions, but again, Minnesota plays in the dome, so they don't have to worry about outside conditions. I think Washington is an overall better team than Minnesota, even though Minnesota's record is 14-3. I feel like they had an easier schedule than Washington, so that shows on their record. So I feel like Washington is going to pass through the divisional round and make it to the NFC Championship. And making it to the NFC Championship, who is then going to line up with? My boys in green. And Philly, they're the number 2 seed. So that means what? Washington got to come to Philly. They got to come see about my boys in Philly. They got to come to our house. And which I do know, not even feel, which I do know, Philly's coming out of there with a dub. So we'll see you guys in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Nice little Mardi Gras, you know what I mean? But on the NFC side, I got Philly going all the way. Now, I'm not even being biased. Honestly, I'm not being biased. I'm going off of pure talent and skill. The bracket is here. I'm going to put it on the screen for you. But the bracket is here. So I'm showing y'all each team. I'm giving you my personal opinion on the probability on how and why these teams are going where. And boom, NFC side, they got my boys in green sitting there on top of the NFC. So now jumping back over to the AFC, let's see who Philadelphia's opponent's gonna be. So boom, so the winner of the Chargers Texans game is gonna play the number 1 seed Kansas City. So Kansas City is gonna play the Chargers. Then I got Kansas City beating the Chargers in the division round, for sure. I definitely do have the Chiefs. So the Chiefs gonna make it to the AFC Championship. I got the Broncos beating out the Buffalo Bills, and I got the Ravens beating out the Steelers. So in the divisional round, we got a Broncos versus Ravens. That's another tough one. I got the Ravens beating out the Broncos, though. I do. Even though how good Bo Nix is doing, Lamar Jackson is a better seasoned quarterback, and he's a baller. He's a baller. Bo Nix ain't been broken in yet, so he still got a little bit of time on his belt to get himself together. But now not rookie year 1. So I got Baltimore and the Chiefs playing in the conference championship. And then last year, the Ravens couldn't do it. But this year, it's going to be a rematch. And I honestly believe the Ravens going to do it. The Ravens going to beat out the Chiefs. And now we're going to have a Lamar Jackson versus Jalen Hurts Super Bowl in Louisiana for the Mardi Gras. That will be a nice, phenomenal thing for the black community. Black quarterback on black quarterback in the middle of the black trenches. But it's gonna be love out there, you know. I know a lot of Ravens fans. I'm an Eagles fan. I know hella Eagles fans, and it's gonna be a battle of the bird. Who's the biggest bird on this day? Who's the biggest bird? You already know. I got Philly walking out, getting their 2nd ring. Hold on, man. Let me show y'all this right here, man. This is my nice little world champs. My Philadelphia Eagles world champ Super Bowl ring. You know what I'm saying? We went down there. It's the winter jump. You know what I'm saying? Went down there. You see the engraving on the inside. Can't really see it. There it goes. 2017. can't really see it, but yeah, these my boys right here. We going all the way. Stay tuned. Look, just follow my plan, man. Like, even if I want to put a nice little few wagers in or not, you know what I'm saying? Going off of my picks and my prediction on how the playoff picture and playoff bracket's gonna go. I think my probability is around like 85% on hitting right now. So go ahead, rock with me, man. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna have another video coming up soon talking about the college football playoffs. You know, drop in the comment section to see if you guys like how they do the 12-team playoffs. I really don't like how they really do with the bowl games and stuff like that. Bowl game winners get a spot, and it's just confusing. Like, it's either you 1 through 12. I don't know how they moving, but stay tuned for our next video. We're gonna get in more in depth and stay tuned. Yeah, Fly Eagles Fly, man. This your boy Shoes Gone Cuts, aka Money Talk Shoes, and this is the world we live in.
Like, follow, and subscribe.
The world that we live in. The world that we live in. The world that we live in. Never gave excuses for the things that went wrong. Doing what I do, I guess they making new clones.